This is the 5th time. So बोलते हैं ना बार बार 5 बार, तो 5वीं बार में good evening. Okay, so quite hectic week in terms of. So let us before going into market, let us have a little bit of macro view. And one more thing, yesterday only the face-to-face conclave in Goa has concluded. So Vivek sir is right now not able to take this session, and that's why this session will be first 20 to 25 minutes will be taken by me, and after that we will have Ashish Kayalji as our guest analyst today, who will discuss about his market view and stock views after me. So the first 20, and as you know that this is mostly a market discussion session from our end, and we don't take a lot of questions during this. So I will try to discuss few important aspects of the market right now. See what happened yesterday. Just closing this. Fortunately, we are able to hear this, and GoToWebinar for last 2-3 weeks have been really troubling us. So anyways, so can you see what is this? This is Indian Forex Reserve, and you all know that commodity prices are right now very high. So let us see the trend in Forex Reserve. You can see from a high of 640, 642 in the month of October and November. See, this is the time the high was made, November, okay, November month, and since then we have been falling. And today we have come to a level of $600 billion from 642, and this is a little bit worrying trend. And the reason we have been falling is due to high commodity prices all across globe. Mr. Putin has started an attack on Ukraine. We all know a war on Ukraine, and and this is a bad scenario, any war on humanity. But the problem also has been compounded by the sanctions that the Western world has put in on Russia. See what has happened. You all know, if I go to the commodity universe, you can see everything has shot up. Okay, everything has shot up, especially industrial commodities. Still, for last 2 weeks, they are showing signs of maybe topping out, possibly topping out. But the metal universe. But if I go to at the same time the agricultural universe, these are monthly charts, and everything is near lifetime high and still going higher. Sugar, or this sunflower oil, wheat. So there is inflation all across. Now, why is this inflation? Because after the war was started, the USA, Joe Biden, and other Western European counterparts had imposed a sanction on Russia. Now, due to sanction, they are buying less amount of everything from Russia. So what has happened in there is less of supply in globally due to this sanction, and they are urging every country not to buy from Russia. But due to less supply, Russia is selling less, the prices have gone up. Russia has not suffered anything because earlier they were selling oil at much lower level. They were selling oil at $80. Now they are selling at $100, and they are in an oil, energy, coal, everything. They are selling less and higher quantity, so their revenue is same. But due to all these things, what has Joe Biden done is that he has caused this is the start of a economic contraction in the first quarter. This is a provisional data, and you can see the inflation is sky high in Europe. Okay, so if I go to the cnbc.com, you will, and if I go to the Europe especially, you will find that European inflation. Just a second. Euro inflation. The headline came just a while back. So Eurozone hit inflation hit 6 months record high for the 6 months in a row. So inflation is high all across Eurozone, all across USA, all across India due to self-imposed sanctions by the USA Joe Biden. I'm sorry. And that's why there is an economic contraction. The economy has contracted, and if you remember, only the war was started in the month of March. Okay, now that is when oil had shot up. Now, out of first quarter, only March has seen this kind of inflation. Now, what has happened right now is that April has gone in the war, and the war, if continues for 1 or 2 months more, it is highly likelihood that the second quarter will also be a contraction in USA. Okay, so you can say that globally this kind of a situation when US is contracting 2 quarters, the biggest economy in the world, and Europe also likely to follow. So there can be a recession globally. Okay, now if I look at the Dow charts, okay, if I look at the Dow charts yesterday, so you can see, sorry, not here. I would like to show you the Dow charts yesterday. After just the data came, Dow Jones started going up because there was fear of rate. Why Dow Jones was falling? Because Fed has said that they would increase rate by 50 basis points. But as soon as the bad economic data came, the market started rising, thinking that Fed may not be very aggressive in raising the rates. Now, as Fed said they will raise the rate, you can see the kind of fall that US market has seen from 35,300 to 33,000, almost 7% over 4 sessions. Okay, so yesterday it tried to bottom out actually as the bad data came and trying to move up, and we don't know how it will pan out. But what I would like to show you that, see, this is the Dow Jones till now. This is the chart. This is the DAX chart. This is the CAC chart. This is the Nifty chart, an inverted hammer, but in all other likely hammer. And if you go to this chart, okay, this is Hang Seng, okay, this is Nifty. Let me make it Bank Nifty because Nifty you have seen. So Bank Nifty inverted hammer, Hang Seng possibly a bullish engulfing. Nikkei already closed with a hammer. Kospi with a hammer. So there can be a possible up move later next week. Okay. But unfortunate and very unfortunate thing is that uh, I would like to show you here is that, see, so many macro things are right now related. It is very confusing at this point of time. Okay. Now, what happened yesterday? I would like to show you this chart. Okay. This is the uh, dollar index chart. So because the Fed was saying that they will raise rate by 50 basis point, what happened is that dollar became very strong and it broke above this resistance, and now even trading above this resistance. Okay. Now, as if I go to the monthly chart, you will understand. If I go to the monthly chart uh, uh, of uh, of US dollar, you will understand that above 104 there is very little resistance. Okay, above 104 there is very little resistance, and in that case it can really go towards this 120, and if that happens there will be a global proper bear market. There will be a meltdown in global equities and something very bad. But another important point is this 104 can act as a resistance, and if dollar index comes down And as all the global indices are showing a sign of kind of bottoming out, we can have a kind of relief rally. I tried to post a chart yesterday. I tried to post a chart yesterday, today, and I will not discuss about Elliott waves in detail, but just look at this chart. So after 5 wave move, A, B, and possibly C completed here, 1, 2. So if we have a rally, we can have a really serious rally. We can have a serious rally. In that case, an inverse head and shoulder would be formed. And everything depends right now on the dollar. Okay. So everything right now depends on the dollar. If dollar if dollar dips and come back to 100 kind of level or 99 kind of level, you can see serious rally. If dollar stays above 103 and crude oil, the problem with dollar right now and crude oil right now is that the moment dollar is retracing a little bit, look what happened yesterday. Dollar was trying to come a little bit down, and as soon as it happened, the crude oil started bouncing faster than anything. In last 2 days, see 102 to 106 and possibly again giving a breakout. So from macro front, I am very, very confused. All indicators are right now very, very confused. I have given a few stocks this week, like for next week, if you can see, BSE has gone up, can go higher. HDFC was a very desired breakout it had given, and I was thinking that this will actually go higher, but it actually failed. Okay, Reliance I have given this week to you guys. In the TMP also I have given, in the club also given, but you can see a very big bearish engulfing pattern that was formed today. So everything is at the edge right now. Everything is at the edge, and I don't know that how things will pan out. I also gave Hindustan Unilever. So this is the Hindustan Unilever chart. I gave it. It went up a little bit, 50, 60 or 70 rupees, and then it came. Asian Paints I discussed this week. Okay, so again at the top end of the range, not doing thing. One stock which I had posted in club, and I possibly posted in Twitter also, but I forgot to post because I was doing it on Sunday, was this stock. Okay, this is the stock. I because I had just forgotten. Okay, so to post this was the stock which I posted. Okay, this was Apcotex India. It actually moved up, but could not share in. Very unfortunately, did not share it into the TMP. So had posted on a Sunday, and actually it had done well, but could, did not post because on the live market I somehow missed it. Okay, unfortunately. But otherwise, very confused about the market right now. Very, very much confused about the market, given the overall macro scenarios, given the overall situation, how it is developing. I really cannot say anything, because the problem that I am facing in giving about stocks is that I will show you. So this is the Nifty chart, weekly chart. You can see that almost two dojis, though it looks like an inverted hammer. But if I look at the daily chart, look at the daily thing. The first day, Monday, huge gap down, then huge gap up, then huge gap down, then huge gap up, then gap up and gap down. So in a range, and very, very confusing to give any trades to you guys. And really very sorry that cannot judge the market from this point of view in which direction it will go, because our macros are weakening, because crude oil prices going up, commodity prices going up, our forex reserve coming down, globally there is a recession, Fed rate hike is there. On the other hand, chart shows if I go to the weekly chart, every chart shows a kind of possible bottoming out ahead of Fed. So really, really confused and which direction it will go. And I saw someone ask me about the sugar stock. See, I am not in a position to make a fundamental call in which direction the sugar companies will benefit. So uh, I would resist from making such a call. One thing I was very disappointed about is that the way the IT index actually broke down, and so Nifty IT, I would say uh, A, B, C, I can see A, B, C, but from where it will again pull back, I don't know. It is weakening. It is weakening. It is really weakening. I have also discussed another stock on the downside, and that was Tech Mahindra. Okay. And I remember I discussed that, and it is on a weekly time frame coming down. It can really go down a lot. Tech Mahindra. Okay. The way it is falling. I have discussed about Wipro. There was a possibility of a turnaround, but Wipro seems to be breaking this thing. So IT looks very bearish because US is going into a recession. Daily chart, there was a kind of a divergence, but this is breaking down. And I always say that we would always trade divergence once it goes above RSI above 50. So similarly, in the when I discussed the HDFC today, uh, I can show you what I had written about HDFC today. If I go to the StockEdge club, and so you should understand what when I make something. So I said RSI is still below 50. Once RSI moves above 50 and stocks sustain about 270. The fact is that in the HDFC, RSI never went above 50. So it remains a weak stock. Overall market condition is not in a directionally very strong, but again, all the indices are showing some kind of bottoming out. So very confused. Next week, third, there is a holiday, national holiday in India, and then on 5th, that is Thursday, you have Fed deciding on the night. So a very confusing scenario. If Fed does not hike aggressively or does not turn hawkish, which it cannot do after this kind of a GDP data, then all likelihood you may see a short-term bounce into the market. But overall, very confused, not having a clear direction. So right now, I would thanks all of you for attending this, in spite of we having twice the problem of logging. So right now, I will like to invite Ashish Kayalji. Hi, sir. Can you hear me, Ashish ji? Agnish, please make him the presenter. Ashish ji, can you hear me? All
Yes,
of
I
you,
can hear
please
you.
welcome Ashish sir. Welcome, sir. Hi, how are you
Okay,
doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much for being making me a part of this wonderful communication and everything. Just 1 second.
We are also
I've just
glad to have you, sir. We are
okay,
also very glad to have you. It
okay,
is all yours,
fantastic.
sir. Please take it from here. We are eager to listen from you, hear from you.
Sure, sure, absolutely. Just give me a second, please. I'm just figuring out to set up everything right now. Uh, are you able to see my screen here?
No,
Just
sir.
1 second. I think I'll have to share the screen and we want to look at certain aspects. Just 1 minute. Show your screen and
Yes, your screen is visible, sir. Please go ahead. Thank you.
sure, fantastic. Do I need to keep my cam on or is it on? Is it off?
Your choice, sir. Totally your choice.
Okay, I'm keeping my cam on right now, but I'm not sure if you are able to
Sir,
see me, everyone is able to.
what I suggest is that you initially have your cam on, talk for 2 minutes, and then switch off the cam because that will save a lot of bandwidth, internet
Yes,
bandwidth.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.
That's great. That's great. Fantastic, guys. So it's great to have every one of you here. And I'm assuming the agenda of today is to general understand about markets, about calls given, and about what do we expect going forward. So that is what my understanding is. It's always pleasure to be hosted by Elearn. It's always I'm more than happy to be here. And if you have questions, I'm sure you will be able to post your questions in the Q&A box. Are we answering the questions? Are we taking those questions from the Q&A box? I just wanted to confirm that as well. Okay, I'll just do that. So we'll do that later on. I'll just check with them in case we are answering questions and if we have to pick those. And it's great. So let me now very quickly move on, and I'm going to turn off my cam so that you don't really have to get bored seeing me. आप मेरा and I'm assuming we can talk in English, Hindi both, or it has to be purely English. If I just want to check that, what is the preference? Is it English and Hindi both is what people prefer? Then I can do that. Or if only English is what I can do that. No problem. So let me just turn off the cam now and let's focus on the charts. That's what we want to do. Just a second. Okay. And over here, where is the chat box? I can see the Q&As, the questions, and okay, sure. Are you? Everyone is able to see the screen which I'm sharing across? Everyone is able to see my screen of Nifty over here. Just 1 second, please. Yes. Okay. Very good evening. Great to see so many of you over here. Uh, so यहाँ पर हम क्या कर रहे हैं? We are trying to look at what's happening with the markets. We are first trying to look at what's happening with Nifty, because usually it is on the basis of Nifty that most of the stocks move. So if you are not having a clear direction about Nifty, you will not be able to trade stocks well. That is what I have been doing for more than a decade. Now, if I go to Nifty, if you can see my chart here, I'm taking a daily chart, purely price right now. I'm not trying to apply any complicated things here. यहाँ पर सबसे ज्यादा important है कि हम price को apply कर रहे हैं. We are able to apply that, and we will be able to see on this basis कि what is the trend of the market and how the trend looks like. Once we have clarity with respect to price, then we will be able to apply some indicators, or I can talk about wave theory or other topics also. So right now what we are doing is, if you are looking at this specific chart of Nifty, one thing that I have learned a decade ago, or more than a decade ago, 15 years ago, was that trend is your friend. You have to trade in the direction of the trend. If you are not trading in the direction of the trend, then chances of you making money in this game of probability is very less. So you have to ensure that you are trading in the direction of the trend. Now यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होगा बोलना कि ट्रेंड है क्या, because you can see it is all over the place without any specific direction, without going anywhere else. So it's a more or less a sideways market with a downward drift. So if you are looking at this entire movement, this is the downward drift, also basis of Dow theory, which suggests that if prices are making lower highs and lower lows, that's the direction of the trend. So the medium term trend, if you look at this chart, is bearish. Why? Because this, what you see here, there's this level is below the prior level. Okay, this high is below the prior high, and this high is also below the prior high. Very simple technique, but very powerful. This indicates that the overall trend for the index is on the downside, because it is making a lower high, and this low is below the prior low as well, lower low. So lower high, lower low means making money might be easier on the downside, might be easier, not necessary. Now, given that fact, very, very clearly, we can also say that once the low, so the current trend, let's go to the current trend. If you're looking at the current trend, this is the current trend, which is at 16,800, where is the low. If this low gets taken out, very clearly, I can also say on the daily time frame chart, we have another lower high and lower low formation from here on. Okay, so that will be the direction of the trend. So the first thing when you want to analyze an index or a stock, or for that matter anything, is to start analyzing it by looking at the overall perspective of the market. So here you can see the overall perspective by simply using candlestick and Dow theory. You don't really have to bother and complicate things. You don't really have to bother and complicate. Okay, so you just have to do that. So now we will draw something known as channel. Channels are that we are going to draw. So let me just remove the drawings from here. I'm going to go to channel. I'm actually more used to doing my webinars on Zoom, so I'm just trying to struggle a bit here, but managing to hang there. So चलिए channel बनाते हैं. This is the above trend line, the upper trend line. We are going to take a parallel to this on the downside and draw a channel. So this is a channel on the downside. I'm going to take one more parallel line to this and connect it from the lows here. So this is the overall direction of the trend. Okay, now in this, what I'm doing is I'm also going to connect one more channel, which is connecting the tops and then projecting it from here. This becomes my another downward sloping channel. So as long as prices are below the high of today, so what is the candle of today? Let's just understand that. Now we will zoom in. So we know that the medium term trend is down, trend is your friend, and the short term trend was sideways, not going anywhere, stuck in a very, very broad range with a bearish candle formed today. But this is not significant, I'm telling you. This candle, which you are seeing as a formation of a bearish engulfing, will be important only if the third candle will close below this candle low. Again, I am repeating, the third candle, only if that close below the prior candle low, then it will be important. If this candle does not close below the prior candle low, which is this low, the low of this is 17,053. अगर मंडे को मार्केट 17,053 के नीचे क्लोज नहीं होता है, which means nothing has changed, it is still going to be sideways. This is what we can make out by looking at the overall candlestick direction. But problem क्या है? Problem है कि majority of the people turn bearish because there is bullish engulfing, bearish because there is bullish because there is bullish engulfing, or vice versa. If you have done that, now look at this candle. This is a bearish engulfing pattern again, but next day gap up clearly, and then the up move. So what you have to understand is to clearly make out that unless we see a close below the low, which is 17,053, things does not change. Now I'm going to go on an hourly chart. Now someone might be saying, yaar, ye to itna basic hai, kya bata raha hai? Let's go on an hourly chart, and I'm going to tell you something very interesting. Very interesting. Look at this candle. Okay, from here, can I say we had a close above the prior candle high? So can I say, basic Dow theory, this is higher high and higher low candle. The high is above prior candle high, low is above prior candle low, and this is a higher high and a higher low formation. Post this formation until here, look at that. There is not a single candle which has closed below the prior candle low. See that very carefully. There was attempt to break the prior hour candle low, but not a close. So there was an attempt here, did not close. And then this candle was again a bearish engulfing pattern, but this does not change the trend. Why? This is an outside candle. Outside candle means the high gets taken out, the low gets taken out, nothing changed. So the bearish candle does not change the trend. That's the best part about it. Which means the trend will change only if the third candle, which is this one, closes below the low. जो नहीं हुआ, so trend did not change. And finally, if you look at this was the candle जिसका high था 17,377, which was above this. So this was also an outside candle. And the next candle break below the low. That's where the trend changed and you saw a sharp sell-off happening. What does it mean? That if you want to ride a trend for intraday, simply bet on the direction of the trend by following one simple technique of candlestick, that unless I see a close below the prior hourly candle low, I will not sell. With that, you will save yourself a lot of energy on searching for the direction of the trend. Is it clear? So on the daily time frame chart, if we simply apply this, you will not sell because there is not a single close since past 2-3 days, and this is a sideways trend, so it's getting whipsawed, but it works like magic. Let's check on a monthly chart. Okay, in a monthly chart, this is for a longer time frame. If this was the low formed on a monthly time frame, 17,900, from there, look at, not a single close was below the prior month low until the top formed here. Isn't that interesting? Not a single close has been below the prior month low until the top formed here, which was in November. So October the top formed, November confirmed, and since November, this is simply astonishing to see that there was such a huge bullish reversal, such a big up move towards that 18,000 mark. But see where we are right now. Despite April month starting with a big bullish sentiment, market simply reversed back on the downside and closed lower. That suggests that nothing has changed in the market. This is still sell on rise market. So everyone who is trying to invest or trade, follow this method, that the month of April has ended still not closing above the prior month high, which means the overall downtrend which started in October 2021 is still continuing on the monthly time frame. Let's check on the weekly time frame what's happening around. On the weekly time frame, can I say this is like a classic evening star pattern? We are talking about candles right now. I'm sure you might want to know about wave theory also, or neo wave or time cycles. I don't mind talking about it if people want to know about it. Right now I'm keeping it simple and explaining you how easily you can make out trends. In this trend, if you look at it, there is an evening star pattern formed. This evening star pattern and this candle which is here closed below the prior candle low. So this confirmed that the top is again formed at 18,000. And now we are seeing all the circus happening up and down and this and that, and people are confused whether to buy, whether to sell. This is nothing but sell on rise market. Okay, from the weekly perspective. From the daily time frame, it is nothing but a sideways trend. So if Monday we see a close below the level of 17,050, you will have an opportunity to ride the trend back on the downside if that close happens. Now, how do we go on the downside? What is the direction of the trend? So we apply the channels, and that helps us to understand the overall where can we head. So if this level goes, then maybe we can head lower towards that 16,200 levels. Okay, so that's how it is right now, and you can even go on a 15-minute chart. That was an hourly chart. Look at that 15 minutes trend. It was so fantastic. From this level again, if you are looking at a 15 minutes trend, try and see this overall. Not a single candle close was below the prior low until here. Similarly here, not a single candle close. Look at this until this point. Isn't that super? So you are seeing right from that weekly, monthly, daily chart. Daily chart is whipsawing because of the gaps have we are seeing up and down, up and down. But look at this 15-minute chart also. Okay, there was an attempt here during an intraday for prices to move up, but it still did not close. It's just there, and then the next leg started again down. So with this understanding, this is just the context of the market. See, there are two things. एक तो होता है कि हम मार्केट के ओवरऑल पर्सपेक्टिव को समझे, और दूसरा होता है उसके बेसिस पे सिग्नल को डिराइव करें. तो फिलहाल हम खाली मार्केट के पर्सपेक्टिव को समझ रहे हैं, हमने सिग्नल नहीं लिया. मैंने ये नहीं कहा कि यहाँ पर सेल करो कि यहाँ पर बाय करो. ये समझ में आया कि मार्केट का ट्रेंड क्या है, मार्केट की चाल क्या है. सो व्हाट इज द ट्रेंड ऑफ द मार्केट इज व्हाट वी अंडरस्टैंड. Now once we have understood the trend, so we know the weekly is bearish. Okay, listen me out. The monthly is bearish, the weekly is bearish, the daily is bullish, hourly is bearish, and 15 minutes is bearish. Now if you are looking at these waves, look at it from a wave perspective now, like an ocean waves, not like an Elliott wave, like an ocean waves. The direction of the bigger tide is coming towards the shore. You know, the smaller tides will get, even if it is going against the away from the shore, it don't have much of the power. That is exactly what is happening with the bulls right now. They are trying to attempt it on the upside, but they are losing the power. The reason being, they are getting pushed away by the bigger wave which is on the monthly chart and the weekly chart. So the daily attempt on the upside is getting whipsawed. This is the reason why you will have failure breakouts happening. Have it happened to you? Failed breakouts on the upside and on the downside, failed breakouts. Market simply failed either side. Okay, and you are just confused. In this kind of a market, what you have to actually do, you have to apply a technique which is known as Bollinger Bands. If you apply Bollinger Bands, you will know at least what is the range of the market. So let me just apply it for you. Because it's a sideways market on the daily time frame, can I say, if the daily time frame, I'm going to on a daily time frame right now because it's sideways on a daily time frame, not on the weekly and the other time frames. So I'm just simply going to erase all the drawings. See, I'm again repeating. If I'm going on the monthly, we have not seen a close above prior month's high, which means the trend is sell on rise. If I go on a weekly, the trend is sell on rise because we are still seeing not a single close above the prior week high. In fact, this candle is even failing to break above the mid of the band. If I go on the daily time frame, we saw a close above the high with an outside candle. This one tide which is against the bigger trend will turn once we see a close below 70,050. Are you with me? Are you getting it? How we are, combining different time frames together and then drilling down into the direction of a 15-minute chart. Now this is what we are doing. Isn't that so simple? Easy, right? And now where is the support? So what we have to do is 17,050 के नीचे बंद हुआ तो sell signal मिलेगा basis of purely candle. The support is lying near 16,770 levels as per Bollinger Bands. 16,770 पे सपोर्ट है, आप सेल करोगे 17,050 के नीचे, and this is where the support is. Why this is a support? Because the bands have turned flat, which is sideways. In a sideways market, bands act as a support. That is what is happening here. If I go on an hourly chart right now, can I say the support of on the hourly chart, the bands are sideways? So Bollinger Bands will help you to understand where is the support and where is the resistance. So if I am looking at the daily time frame, I will sell below 17,050. So 315 को देखेंगे कि मार्केट 17,050 के नीचे बंद हो रहा है, सेल करेंगे with a target levels of 16,770. This becomes a positional trade if it is happening on an hourly time frame. अगर मैं intraday trader हूँ, okay, if I am an intraday trader, what I am going to do now is I am going to wait for a pullback because I want to see some kind of a attempt on the upside by the bulls. Once I see a pullback on the upside and a reversal again on down, I will sell. I will sell below this level for my target level of 16,920. This is for intraday or 1 or 2 days time frame if you want to trade. So what I am doing is, why I am looking for an attempt on the upside? Because after such a sharp fall, which is already 200 points fall Nifty ka, in a sideways market, you start seeing attempts. अगर ये ट्रेंडिंग मार्केट होता तो मुझे पता था, ये साइडवेज मार्केट है, इसीलिए you will see an attempt. Once you see an attempt on the upside, that will be the test of that level. If Nifty tests that level of 17,170, fails to go beyond that 170, 180, अगर fail हुआ ऊपर जाने में and then breaks the low, classic opportunity to sell for the targets on the downside. What if, the question is, what if it is going and closing at 17,200? Nothing to do. Wait until 17,300 gets taken out. I am then be very cautious creating long positions. Why will I remain cautious is because the overall trend of the market has looked like down and this big candle is too far away. So I will wait. So Monday can be a day of consolidation. Why? Because we have seen a sharp fall. If there is an attempt on upside, not much of an opportunity to buy. And if the low gets broken, we will get opportunity to sell. Basis of that, we'll go on a 15 minutes time frame now. 15 minutes, the bands are already trending down. After a contraction, the band expanded and it is trending down. So that's the direction of the trend. And that's the trend which I am betting on. So Monday is going to be deciding factor for me. Along with that, let's combine wave theory. Let's look at Elliott wave. What is happening around with wave theory? Let's just hide across Bollinger Band. So I'm going to combine something known as neo wave for now. Not many people might be aware about wave theory, so I'm not going to be going much depth into wave theory because you will get all confused and you will say, "Arey nahi chal raha." I don't want you to leave away wave theory just because you are not able to apply it correctly. So this is wave A here. Okay, let me just draw it. We have wave A here. I'm able to draw it here. We have wave B. Okay. We have wave C completing here. This low formed is wave D at this point. And this is possibly wave E, which is formed here. Okay. Over here, we can clearly see, that after the formation of wave E, we should see a down move. But confirmation is only below the pivot levels, only below this level. Okay. This is as per wave theory. Now, this is an extracting triangle pattern from a neo wave perspective. In this, the neckline or the trend line which is important is this one. If you are seeing this very, very clearly, this is the neckline. Below this neckline, the trend is confirmed to be starting on the downside. Does it look like a head and shoulder pattern? I've been talking about and tweeting about this pattern since quite some time. And sorry, I've just interchanged it. This is the head here, let me just rub it off. Okay, how do I rub it off? Anyways, forget it. So this is the head here, and this is the shoulder here, left hand side, and this is the right hand side, which is still going on. Okay, the right hand side shoulder is right now still going on. So don't just assume that the shoulder is over. The shoulder is over only below the neckline. Do you remember the support of the band that we looked at earlier? Where was the support of the band? 16,920. So can I say that 16,920, if that is broken, then the next support is kicking in somewhere around this zone? Once this support level is taken out, which is around 16,700, the bigger downtrend will start. The bigger downtrend will start. And if we take out the high here, then we can say a deeper pullback. But once that high is taken out, there are a lot of hurdles that Nifty has to cover. Imagine it is not even able to fill the gap which is formed here. That's the gap area. It's not even able to cover that. Okay. So what is the reason for the fall? If you are searching for reasons which are logically explained, which is some news because of which market fall, then you are not going to make money. But if you are trying to look at the chart pattern and see that the first hour candle close happened here itself, market broke below the neckline or the support of the level, and that's why the market showed a sharp correction, then you have your answer. So the corrections that are happening, such sharp move which you saw here also, is because of lack of bulls commitment. This is happening because bulls are not committed. They don't have the power. There is no conviction in the market. That's why even a little selling, they get out. So that's the reason why it is happening. There is no conviction in the market. Little down move, book profit and get out. That's how the trade is happening in the market currently. And this is the reason exactly why you should be trading options. Now, how do I form an option strategy with this scenario in mind? If I am an option seller, I can think that 18,000 is not going to be taken out as of now, looking at the current context, which means I can sell across 18,000 ka strike price 1-2 weeks later. Expiry, 2 weeks later expiry or 1 week later expiry, I can sell off 18,000 or 17,800 put 70,800 call options. Once I have sold across 17,800 or 18,000 ka call option, I can have my stop loss somewhere around 17,500 odd levels. If it goes above it, I'll cut out this position. Why? Because if 17,500 is broken, this channel gets broken, we have a confirmation, then we can see some commitment from the bulls. Else, the overall outlook is what? We might start moving sideways. If we are moving sideways, I'm going to make money on this option. If we start going down, I'll still make money on this option. So the way to make money in the current market where it is not going anywhere is simply by selling selling call options. Why? I'll again justify. So see, I should have answers to all the things that you are thinking, right? I'm reading your mind. You don't even know that. Okay. The reason being, if we are looking at the zooming in the chart and seeing this, you will see an alternate color. That's what market is enjoying itself in dancing across, I would say. It is dancing across. Okay, you have a red color, you have a green. You have a red, you have a green. You have a red, maybe Monday will be a green. It is enjoying across. We have a gap down, we have a gap up. We have a gap down, we have a gap up. Today, we had a gap up but moved lower. So it's just not doing anything. So don't try to make sense out of something which is not doing anything. The only sense you will be able to make out once the trend starts. In this non-trending market, the simplest instrument you can trade is by selling call options or put options, but hedging it that. Is it clear? So what is my view? I don't want to confuse you and leave you high and dry कि यार समझ में आया लेकिन करना क्या है. Okay. So the view is the bigger tide is down. The overall market outlook is bearish. In this bearish outlook, there are attempts to be pulling on the upside. That's why we are seeing some kind of a attempt on the upside. This is possibly looking like a distribution happening again by big players, maybe FIs. They are distributing it. So in this kind of a market, sell call options to make money, out of the money call options to make money, weekly or 2 weeks later option, because that will deteriorate the most. If you want to buy the market, you just wait. Then you go on a 1 hour chart. On a 1 hour chart, we can clearly see that the market overall has closed bearish. Now you wait if you want to buy. I am going to wait. I'm not going to buy easily. I'm going to wait for the first hour. Let's see if the hourly candle can close above the prior candle high. If that is the attempt, then there is some pattern. Do I see a flag, a pennant, a triangle, some candlestick pattern? Then I will be looking forward for buying, but very short term, maybe just 40, 50 points, 60 points. That's it. I'm not committing myself on the bull side. Once I see a close below 17,050 happening, I can then start buying puts or sell a nearer call options to ride that trend. This is how I'm going to play the market. Now, in this kind of a market where things are sell on rise, stock selection can be challenging. If you are buying, be okay. Stop loss will be triggered. You will lose. Don't lose too much. Use 1% if you're losing on the stock. But when you are gaining, try to make it 1.5% or 2% if you gain. With that logic, what will happen? When you make money, you are making more. When you lose, you're losing less. That way, you will be able to play well in the market. And don't commit yourself positionally. Commit yourself for intraday right now. Once the trend starts, then commit yourself positionally. So try to think. Do not try to trade every now and then. Try to think if this is your trade setup which you want to do. And if it is your trade setup, trade that. You can simply apply bands. If the bands are in favor, if bands are sideways, which means that's the support. Which means if I have to sell, I will sell possibly below this low. That's my target. This mid band is my stop loss. The risk reward is good. Yes. Can I do that? Yes. Hota kya hai? Majority of the people are going to sell below this level. When they are selling here, there is a support. Now, if there is a support, you sell here, you get a support here, and then you get stopped out. And then you wonder that someone is sitting with a magnifying glass, seeing you, putting a trade, and just hitting your stop loss. Because you are doing it exactly where they want you to do. You trade a little smartly. You anticipate the move, and then you trade with a small stop, and then ride the trend. Am I making sense to you people? Okay, so don't get confused, get clarity by applying simple candlestick. Wave theory, if you can, works fantastic. If you can apply wave theory, can be a simply super way of knowing what the market is doing. Okay, I can see a few of you are saying it's a lot of clarity, right? Fantastic. I'm open for questions if you have anything. But I think we are running out of time. This was supposed to be only till 7. You know, it's 30 minutes gone. Time. Time is very dynamic. Let's talk about time. Time is dynamic, which means that if you are doing something which you are enjoying, you will see that the time flies. If you are doing something that you are not liking at all, the time just does not move. Which means time as an absolute concept is incorrect. So time is an relative concept. Similarly, in markets, time is relative, which means that when there is a strong trend, the time will contract. When there is a distribution happening, time will expand. It's a relative concept. We will not be talking about time right now, but it's a beautiful concept. And you know, if you know how the time works, you will simply be amazed. There is something known as lunar cycle. I was talking about it just back. In terms of lunar cycle, do we talk about that? Do we have time right now, or are we over time? Okay, I can continue keep talking if people are enjoying it. Lunar cycle, you want to see? Okay, I'm not a lunatic person. I'm just a guy who follows everything that works on the market. That's what I do. This is a lunar cycle. Very interesting. Just a very interesting phenomenon. I'm going to keep it very short. I'm going to hide my bands here. The circle down, that is highlighted circle, are full moons. Okay, these are full moon. The market topped out on a full moon. Before this cycle was different, and now the cycle is different. Before the top of 18600, the full moon created a low and market rallied. Post 18600, full moon created top and market is falling. So a full moon, market declined. A full moon, market declined. Full moon, market declined. Full moon, market formed a top and declined. Full moon, market formed a top and declined. Wow, that is fantastic. Full moon, market just went a little sideways and then rallied. So this was little off. A full moon here, a top formed and the market declined. Wow. I mean, if I wouldn't have done any studies of technical analysis, just focused on time and looked at the moon. You know, here in Mumbai, you don't even see the moon. Forget about the stars. You are not even able to see the moon. So I have a calendar which tells me when is the full moon, when is the Amavasya or Purnima. That tells me because I'm not able to see it in the sky. So, but that's how it is. That's how our culture is. That's how it behaves, because this moon actually impacts every living creature on the planet. Forget about living, everything on the planet. If you look at the ocean tides, it changes with the full moon and the new moon. If that is how the ocean tides behave with respect to moon, we humans are made 70 to 75% of water. Don't you think we will also have certain things, subtle changes happening in our energy system? We don't realize that, but it happens, and that results into trends, that results into reversals, which is reflected in stock market. That's why I love stock market. It reflects you, it reflects your personality, it reflects the crowd psychology, it reflects the entire thing that can happen. And with Elliott wave, you can forecast this, which means you are forecasting the destiny of majority with probability. You know, that's how it is with you. Sunday, 1st of May, it's a lunar cycle again. It's an Amavasya. Amavasya has usually resulted into some pause in the downtrend, sideways action. Will that happen again? We will see. So 1st of May is an Amavasya. Monday, that's why is important. If we break and close below 17,050, nothing changed and the trend is down. If we manage to bounce back, maybe for 3 days or 4 days, the moon will have the effect on it. You know, Somras is what we call the full moon also. Okay. So a lot of things, guys. So I can't really continue. Otherwise, we would have done that. I can see so many of you are posting across the questions. Over here, uh, that seems to be, can we expect it next week? To a lot of clarity. Fantastic. Nice analysis. Great. Okay. Wonderful explanation. We are reaching candlestick, oscillator, wave theory, and now the full moon, right? Uh, Great, guys. I think let's just wind down. So I can continue till 9, 10, and you can simply listen to me. You will enjoy, I enjoy, that we can do, but then समय का अभाव नहीं रहेगा. So अभी फिलहाल समय का अभाव है, तो हम आगे का सेशन कंटिन्यू नहीं कर पाएंगे. So we will see, maybe next time we'll talk a much more detailed fashion, and we will do that. Thanks, guys. If you want to have this session again, you can possibly request Elon, and I'm sure they will be able to do something about it. I don't mind doing that. Okay, great. So stock specific बात नहीं कर पाए because I thought थोड़ा इंडेक्स पे फोकस करेंगे और बात करेंगे तो ज्यादा मजा आएगा, because once you know the index trend, स्टॉक के ऊपर फिर बात कर पाएंगे बहुत ही अच्छे से. सिंपल था. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, guys. Become a wonderful trader. This is Ashish Kyal signing off. Keep learning and keep it simple. It works. Even the wave theory and time are simply fantastic, but you should know how to do that. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.